welcome to a clip of my garden. So the first few videos, little clips, I recorded around 3 weeks ago when I was able to spend a bit of time in the garden. Actually, it might have been less than that. But I spent a bit of time just sorting through my pots. You can see at the moment I'm in my area which I call my working area, which is generally very untidy. Maybe I should call this channel Gardening Getting Tidier. But I wanted to go through these pots and weed the top of them, and if any of them had the bulbs coming up, I then put them to one side. So I sort of look around this working part of my garden and think I'm not quite sure how it ever gets this untidy, really. I've got lots and lots of pots which I feel like I can get rid of. So when we had the first lockdown, I spent a lot of time working, a lot of time homeschooling, and a lot of time in the garden. And I grew so many plants, and all of the spare plants that I grew, I sold. And I used to put them on my doorstep, and people used to come and put the money in my door, walk past, put the money in my door and take the plants. And it was really nice because all the garden centres were closed, so people that loved their garden, they were helping me and enjoying their garden, being outside during lockdown, which was really, really good. But as a result, I ended up with loads and loads of flower pots. So people used to bring me their spare flower pots, and I ended up amassing lots of them. So I think what I really need to do is I need to bag up, say, 100, put them all in a bin bag, and send a message out, maybe put them on Marketplace free to a good home, so somebody else can make use of them. Whenever I look at my garden, I am genuinely shocked as to how untidy I managed to allow it to become. Just with all the pots and random things all piled up. But a job for another day is I'm going to cut that privet right back. I'm going to get some glass panels for my cold frame because the glass smashed in a storm that we had. And then I'll be able to make use of that this year. I'm trying to keep hold of that metal bath, but in reality it's completely got a hole in the bottom, so I think I need to be sensible with that and maybe give the metal bath to the metal man. Also, I could stack quite a lot of these pots, so I think I'll probably do that another day. But today I just wanted to focus on gathering together all the pots which have got my bulbs coming through. And as I've shared with you before, every year I take the pots from the back of the garden and move them to the front in springtime, and then as soon as they've died and finished flowering, I then move them to the back of the garden. So I've got crocuses, tulips, daffodils, all sorts. And I really love having springtime flowers. I just feel it's like all the first signs of spring. You might spot in my garden I've got snowdrops and crocuses. Lots of crocuses coming up throughout the grass, which I really, really love. So you'll see me doing some work around there. And then in a minute, you'll see me planting up another planter with some bulbs. But I think I might be a bit late, so I might not be lucky with that one coming up. And then towards the end was actually video today. And after I'd sorted out the cupboard with 101 tea towels, I decided to go in the garden, collect bits and pieces of rubbish which had blown around the garden. And then I also cleared up all the ash from Bonfire night. So you see me do that too. And then right at the very end, I do a little walk round of my garden and show you the different areas and show you inside my greenhouse. This channel is only small, but I have had a few comments. So Louise Tilbrook said that I could paint the tiles on my video for the Northeast refurbishment. Tracy Fall said you were such a busy bee. Decluttering Queen said good luck Emma, I can't wait to see what you do with it. And Brooke says, I apologise, I did know about this channel. How exciting. I've enjoyed seeing what you've done so far and I look forward to the finished product. Just curious if you have done other projects in that area and why it's so far away from home. I have done other projects in that area, yes. And the main reason why it's so far away is because there's still possible to get a decent amount of growth in that area. There's not so much chance of getting good yields and good growth in Norfolk. And had a number of new subscribers to this channel. It still remains very small though. So thank you for those of you that have commented. It does really look cold on this picture, on this video. It is really quite cold. It seemed to be getting milder and then we had 2 days which felt freezing. But this is where I just decided to get my rubbish bin and go around the garden and pick up different bits and pieces of rubbish which the wind had blown around my garden. There were a few wrappers from when I did the bulbs. I must have left them in the pile and then forgot about them. So I was just going round and having a general clear up and sort out. I also put the step ladder away. My bike needs to go away, but I try not to go into my husband's man cave. It's much easier to ask for him to get me things in the man cave rather than me getting myself. And then you will see the ash that I had back from the fire. And remember the 5th of November. So I decided to clear all of that up. Because I really do need to put grass seed down. But that will be once any signs of frost have disappeared. You can also see my laurel bush there is really getting a bit too big. It took me quite a while to clear this all up, and the soil is lovely and black underneath, so the grass seed will be sure to grow very, very quickly. You'll see lots of leaves and weeds all around. Really what I should have done is before the frost arrived in November, December time, I really should have cleared. Now I can't clear up now because of the risk to insects and butterflies. So do you remember Bonfire night? This is left over from Remember the 5th of November. And most years we have a big bonfire here and sparklers and fireworks. And sometimes, every so often I don't have a fire because obviously it destroys the grass. But the last few years I have a fire and then I put all grass seed again. And then I have a fire and then I put grass seed again. Which is a bit extra work, but everybody loves the fire, so it's nice. Really starting to feel like spring. It's cold. All the birds are looking round for places to nest. I saw a blue tit a minute ago. Got to be careful not to fill the bin up too much because if it's too heavy they won't collect it. soil is underneath. That means the grass will grow quite quickly. Nearly there. I actually don't like the sparklers being thrown. I like the sparklers being put to one side. I don't understand why they're thrown in the fire. This is more work. There we go. Nearly there. And I'm going to show you my bulb pots. They're really getting on well. Do you plant any bulbs? A lot of metal in here, nails and so on from the bits of wood that were burnt. Nice when the days are getting longer. It's not dark for long really. You always say dark days before Christmas. Soon after Christmas it's light again. Sometimes I think... I thought I'd show you around the garden this time of year. There's some pots and leaves that just need to be cleared up. Then there's this wood that needs to go in the wood shelter over there. This pipe was sadly broken by the people who cut our trees, and they either didn't notice or just didn't tell me. This bin needs to be put underneath the wood container with next to the coal. I'm using that for coal, so I'm going to use this for coal as well. This hedgehog house I got for £5 from a jumble sale, and it's worn quite badly really. It's rotted almost, but to my great pleasure there is a hedgehog in there. Then these are going to be all sorted out ready for spring. My Fatsias, I'm very pleased with how they're doing, really nice. The bench I'm going to take out of there and paint. It's getting a bit damp in there, so I'm going to cut this back. This has got a bit overgrown. The hydrangea and that pot belongs to my daughter. She asked for a hydrangea one year. Oh, that's looks like that's died. Sadly, somebody kindly cut my grass and cut the top of one of my plants off, which was a shame. General tidy up here. There's lots of pots and things that I need to put away. And then over this side I need to cut back, but I'm going to wait a little bit longer. The difficulty is I should have really tidied up all of this before the frost arrived, but I haven't. That Fatsia is doing nicely as well. There is a tree at the back there, but I don't think it survived. And then all of this needs to be cut back before spring, because there's lots of bulbs in there. The bulbs are going to struggle to come up, and grasses. This is the thing, I should have cut all this back. And there's a passiflora that's growing up in the tree there. That's my herb area, which is all very untidy. And then through here is my working area. And do you remember all these pots that are in a line? They are all the pots which have all got bulbs coming up. This was the planter that I did on video not so long ago. I'm not quite sure what's in there, but they're coming up. I think they could possibly be artichokes, I'm not sure. And then these are bulbs. I've got lots of herb pots here. Some, to be honest, I never put back after the summer holiday. They were all put here because there was too many things for people to water. And then over here, this is what I mean in terms of I just am very good at being untidy. Very good at being untidy. And then this year, I've decided that all this soil is going. So these are like massive great containers of soil from the work that we did at the side of the house, and I didn't want to pay for a skip. Now this is in the greenhouse, and I ran out of time last year, but I grew echinops. Then I've got some Chandler yellow and some red lupins. They look like they're being eaten, but the thing is they're coming up strong, so I'm going to be able to grow those on. Oh, I think I'm being called. I've got hollyhocks over there. Then the grass has taken over my lupins. Then I've got poached, oh, my nemesia has survived the winter, that's good. Then I've got poached eggplant up here. Got a snow tower down there, but this whole area needs a big tidy up. Poached egg again, flowering. They often go all the way through the winter. So lots to do in here. I think this has gone for it. I just need to make some time. Got some globe artichokes, which are one of my favourites. And these are all kohlrabi, which I put them in too late. Well, I grew them from seed, and then I didn't plant them in the garden early enough. So we've had no kohlrabi this year, but perhaps the plants will continue for the next year. When I say this year, I mean last year. There's a few bulbs coming up there, which is good.